right, hello and welcome to another week of Power 10 Sports Talk. This week it is your host, Andrew Gibb, and joining me this week is the host of our new show, Reality Check, Erin, the host of our upcoming show, Mass Debaters, John Sacco, repping Gen Z, and the host of Flagrant Fouls, another upcoming show we have, Brady Gibb. And our special guest for this week, the executive producer of all of our content, one of our top supporters, the original Gibby himself, my dad, Steve Gibb.
Welcome to the show, Steve.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome
Thanks for having me.
After all this time, we finally get you on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on here. Like I said, I've supported you guys since you started, and I'll continue to do it.
Yep. So we'll get right into it. News from this past couple weeks. I know last week we were out and did a short show for you guys, but we'll start off strong. Hank Aaron did pass away yesterday. Everyone is very saddened by this. The Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta FC, the MLS team in Atlanta, both are retiring Hank Aaron's number for the season. Which I'm not sure how I get the gesture, but I don't get how it makes sense. Because I don't think anyone in MLS, especially, like you field maybe 22 men, is wearing his number because it was. Shoot, Aaron, what number was Hank Aaron?
Oh, I don't.
I really thought you would know. Out of all people, I thought you'd be the one that would know. All right.
I don't know
Let me Google it.
And I don't know that he carried the same number on every team he played on.
At least whenever he was with the Braves. They're just retiring his
44.
Number.
40. Yeah, they're retiring.
44.
The Braves and Brewers both retired number 44. So I'm assuming that
number 44 will be retired for the season by the Falcons and Atlanta FC. I don't think I know any soccer player that's worn the number 44. Usually you stay in like the zeros and the tens, maybe up into the 20s. That's about it. I don't think I've ever seen somebody wear 40s.
It's still ceremonial. I mean,
yeah, it's ceremonial, and I get it. It's a nice gesture.
You have teams retiring like double zeros, and what NBA player in this era is wearing double zeros?
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, so the Falcons are retiring the number 44.
Yeah, well, for this year, the Falcons and Atlanta FC are going to retire 44. I don't know if they're going to bring it back next season or if it's just going to stay permanently retired.
So basically,
probably
Atlanta is not going to have a fullback number 44. That's basically what number 44 is.
Atlanta's short a fullback number. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we're missing out on.
I think there's like 5 teams in the league that still even carry fullbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the Browns are one of them, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hank Aaron passed away. Very sad. One of the better people to ever play the game. There was no controversy with him. He was just a great all-around baseball player.
Yeah, the number one reason why people weren't into him was mostly because he was an activist in the civil rights movement. It wasn't anything to do with his skill set because he was a great baseball player. So he definitely made an impact on and off the field.
Yeah. Next news we had was Houston traded away James Harden in that big blockbuster trade last week. And we get to see the first game that we have the big three in Brooklyn together. They lose to the Cavs.
Twice.
Yeah. Well, last night they did also get to play, but KD was out, so you could put an asterisk. But the big three were together for that first game, and they lose to the Cavs in double overtime.
Because Colin Sexton.
Yeah, Colin Sexton is amazing.
Out.
My favorite anecdote, Kevin Durant was talking to the media after the game. He says, Colin Sexton walks in the locker room, walks past Kevin, walks past James, straight up to Kyrie, says, "You better lace him up tight. This is going to be a long night." And he proceeded to drop. He was bawling on them.
He put 42 on them, right? And also
42 with 20 straight to close the game.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, also, James Harden no longer fat. It's almost as if he just did it because he wanted out of Houston.
That, or he just, stopped eating all the Southern comfort foods and had to move to New York.
Yeah, they're in Brooklyn now. Does anyone remember a couple years ago, it might have been 2 or 3, where Vice did this thing on Brooklyn barbecue and how it's the next best thing? They show this little plate
Oh.
Brooklyn
Your
barbecue.
Brooklyn barbecue, and they have one of those big metal trays, and there's like 2 little things of brisket, a little container like mac and cheese. And they're like, this is the next upcoming thing. And
No.
it was like $40.
It's $40. Like, are we talking?
It
like,
was
the metal
outrageously
tins,
expensive.
Like those like catering tins.
Yeah, like a typical barbecue tray. You see like Texas barbecue where you got the rack
Okay.
ribs, the brisket. It was one of those big trays, and it had maybe like a couple strips of brisket and like 3 ribs, and like
So that's why
some
Harden
small
lost all the
sides.
weight. The man was
I know.
being starved.
The man's being starved in Brooklyn, or they're just eating kale or something.
Yeah,
Eating
that's
kale
true.
salads.
Brooklyn's supposed to be a very like vegetarian, vegan friendly area.
Very
and
health conscious
so-
area.
Mhm.
So,
All right.
like, being the best barbecue in Brooklyn, you're competing against kale.
That's a
Yeah.
tough. Yeah. Remember,
Also true.
kale used to be what they decorated salad bars with at restaurants. They're like, you don't eat this. It's just
Don't
decorative.
eat this. It's the garnish.
It's like parsley.
I always thought it was fake.
No, that's what kale is. That's what that was. And other Houston news: Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. Front office
Shocking.
problems. JJ Watt also has shown a lot of displeasure with Houston. I would not be surprised if they both leave this season or next. I think both contracts are up in the next couple of years.
Yes, I will be talking about this later when we go
yeah,
on.
it'll come up later. Don't worry. But so he wants out. So Houston is really much just kind of on the downswing right now. It's got to be tough to be a fan.
Mm-hmm.
You get a World
And they
Series
are-
win and it's tainted. Your star players all leave in the NBA and the NFL.
It's even worse. It's even worse because at least the players want out.
Yeah.
The Texans, they have systematically destroyed that team. They
Yeah.
trade out Hopkins for nothing, a second.
A
They
second
bring in
and
Tunsil,
a mid
and you lose your next first round pick, and he hasn't done anything for you. You bring in David Johnson, who pretty much last season was
a mid-range running back.
non-factor. Yeah,
He was
I don't
mid-range.
think he wasn't even 15. I think he was comfortably at running back 20 in fantasy or something, maybe 15.
All right, and another one, Houston Dynamo, their MLS team, is dead last.
Dead last.
So yeah, being a Houston fan, not great right now. I kind of feel bad, but then I remember they had the Astros and supported them whenever they cheated, so they lose all of the support.
Do you
They've
need
lost.
me to go grab my trash can just to bang it in the background during this episode? Like, why are we
Nah.
talking about the Astros? Don't talk about them. Don't give them the attention.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't need
deserve
it.
it.
So we'll move on from that. You did get to see some new NFL coaching hires. Urban Meyer to the Jags, Robert Saleh to the Jets. He was the former 49ers defensive coordinator. Arthur Smith to Atlanta, the former Titans offensive coordinator. Brandon Staley, he was the Rams defensive coordinator. He's now the Chargers head coach. Nick Sirianni to the Eagles. He was the Colts offensive coordinator. And finally, Dan Campbell to the Lions. He was New Orleans tight end coach and assistant head coach. And we'll go around. Who do you think is going to be the one that doesn't pan out of all of them? Obviously, there could be multiple, but which one sticks out to you guys as the one that's just not going to work? For me, it's Urban Meyer. I think he's good in college, but translating to the NFL, it's a whole different ballgame. Coming to the Jags, you definitely have a good offense, and that helps you a lot. But can you manage and build a defense that can win games? It's great if you can put up 45, but if you can't stop the other team, you're not going to win.
Let me say this in Meyer's defense. They do have the first overall pick, and they have 6 picks over the first 3 rounds. So he may have the talent to do this.
Yeah, I think that it is.
Especially with a Trevor Lawrence, Meyer is a quarterback whisperer. You want to throw that term around to whatever coach, he is the quarterback whisperer. Think of all the Ohio State quarterbacks that have been great under him.
And how great did they do in the NFL?
Exactly.
Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out in the NFL, never have, never
Exactly.
will.
But an
back,
Ohio State quarterback with Meyer, a talented quarterback with Meyer.
Yeah, it could work out.
He's put out.
Look beyond Ohio
Alex,
State, though. He did Alex Smith, Tim Tebow. He had great coach, like other quarterbacks at different, not just Ohio State. Like he knows how to get the guys that are going to work hard. But he also doesn't.
He has an eye for talent.
Right, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that he knows how
I
to
may
manage
eat this, but I don't
personality.
expect any busts from this Jags draft upcoming if they let Meyer
Yeah.
handle the picks.
But the thing is, he's just the head coach. He's not a GM like Pete Carroll or
Mhm.
Bill Belichick. So it could be there's GM head coach controversies where they're picking
Well,
guys
Trent
they
Balk,
don't agree with.
extremely petty, but he's the man who kicked Jim Harbaugh out of San Francisco. But now they're working together, and Balk's one of those guys who values talent. He values talent above all else, above character. And Bomani Jones tweeted it the other day that he can see this becoming a problem where that sort of thing has gotten Meyer into trouble in the past, where you value
Yeah.
talent above character, above anything else.
Yeah, the
But
08 Gators that he was a part of that, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so there's definitely a little show right there that talent and character are two different things that he appreciates in a different capacity.
Well,
Mhm.
literally just look at the Zach Smith situation.
Exactly.
Like that's
But-
like the biggest, most recent one. Like there's definitely a difference between a college coach and a professional coach. Like he's gonna have to learn how to manage personalities. He's gonna have to learn how to manage money. He has to learn how to motivate a team of guys that are getting paid millions of dollars, regardless if they win or lose. They don't have a big
Mhm.
rivalry game that they have to worry about. Like it's a
Yeah.
very different than anything he's ever done in college. Like
Mhm.
he's very focused on Michigan. Whenever he was in Florida, he was very focused on like beating that other SEC team,
Alabama, LSU, Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's always had that rivalry type of vibe
Mhm.
and that us against the world mentality. Jacksonville's not like that. They will never be like that. It's never
No.
going to be like Jacksonville against everyone in the US. Like it's not. They don't have that rival. They don't have like anything like that. And you have to be able to like the biggest part of being a professional coach is managing personalities. I don't know if you're going to be able to manage like grown adults that are just making money. Like in college, you're managing kids, and you can
But I
always
mean,
say,
Pete
"Oh,
Carroll made the
NCAA
transition
violation."
successful. He's
Yeah.
one of the better coaches in the NFL right now. So I mean,
Right,
give it a couple years, we'll see if he is a Chip Kelly or a Pete Carroll. But
yeah.
The thing
Or
about
a
Pete
Nick
Carroll,
With-
this isn't his
Saban,
first
though.
time.
Yeah.
yes,
True.
that's true.
It took
But
him several
between-
times to get it right.
Mhm. Between Balk and Meyer, I think they have enough an eye for talent. I don't think talent acquisition will be a problem. Because in college, you do have especially at Florida, at Ohio State, you have your pick of the litter. All the 5 stars you could want, they all basically are at least considering Ohio State, have them in their top 5s.
Yeah, that's what I told John earlier. Meyer can't recruit his way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's going to do well. For one, he has to learn, like Erin said, to deal with grown-ass men. Grown-ass men with lives that want paid.
Mhm.
And here's the funny part. They're professionals. They're going to do everything they can. But guess what? On Monday, they still get paid whether they won or lost
Win or
on
lose.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if it gets bad enough, they're just going to want out. And what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence? He's a great quarterback, but look what Ohio State did to him.
Yeah,
in the
it's very
bowl.
much like Sam Darnold,
He
where
looked
he looked
horrible.
great, but
He didn't look like he was going to transition well to the NFL against. I guess we
Very
could all
bad
admit
defense.
Ohio State's defense showed up that day, but they weren't great. They weren't
No.
great. So
That was our only game all
Yeah.
year that they looked good.
exactly. So and they made him look like a chump.
Especially to see what Mac Jones did to them the week later.
yeah,
Right.
and I do think that there is a bit. I know Alabama is still, you're not going to have every single guy go pro, but getting beat by Alabama's defense is one where it's like, all right, well, you still have some potential. 99% of these guys are going to go to the pros. Where like Ohio State, I think it's 60, 70%, which is enough to be concerned that if you can't beat them, what are your hopes whenever every single guy you're playing is an NFL caliber guy?
What are you
Sam
gonna do when
Darnold,
Aaron Donald wants to kill you?
yeah. In
Yeah.
the case of Sam Darnold, he looked great all year. Plays Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, just shits the bed. And look at his NFL career. It hasn't worked. I don't know if it's a Jets problem or if it's a him problem, him seeing ghosts, whatever it might
He's
be.
going to look real good with the Steelers next year.
Yeah.
That Steelers
have?
quarterback
Wait.
room is going to be phenomenal with
right,
Haskins,
yeah, so-
I
Donald,
was gonna say,
Winston.
did you see he signed?
Next news, Dwayne
Cam
Haskins
Newton.
going to Pittsburgh.
Hold on. I'm not in agreement that Meyer's my worst coach.
Oh,
I'm gonna
all
say
right. So who is your worst?
Nick Sirianni. because
You think Sirianni?
I think so. I think he's a Peterson clone. I think management is going to walk all over him. He's not the type of guy who's assertive. I don't think he's.
Yeah,
I think this is a move to placate Carson Wentz. Because he's very much in the Pedersen build.
I do think this is a situation. Yeah, he's probably my second one. He didn't do a whole lot for the Colts offense. A lot of it was run through Frank Reich. So I think being Frank Reich's number 2, you're gonna kind of be enticed to keep Wentz because there's that huge contract, and your old mentor was like, this is the guy, and you kind of keep him around. And you're not going to. Here's the thing: Deshaun can be traded off. He has the talent. Carson Wentz also has a giant contract coming with him that I don't think a lot of teams want to pay for.
You can't cut him. That's dead money on the cap.
Yeah, you can't cut him. You can't trade him. So it's kind of like, I think they picked a guy because the front office wants him. I think Doug Peterson kind of wanted Hurts, and they cut him. But I think this is a situation where they picked a guy that would agree with having Wentz as the starter because you don't want to have dead money sitting on the bench.
That hire to me just screams they wanted Pedersen, but they wanted someone who was like Pedersen but on board with what the front office wanted to do.
Was it okay? Sorry, isn't his last name Peterson?
It is Peterson.
Is it Peterson or is
it's
it
Peterson? It's Doug Peterson.
Okay, that's why I was like, I'm so confused.
You know who I'm thinking of?
Do I know who they're talking about?
The Dodgers player, Jock.
Josh.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
All right.
Either way, are we going to go around and say our best or?
So we'll just go with worst. I think best is a very tough one to pick because some guys can go with a winning record.
I have my best.
So Aaron, who's going
to be your best?
The Jets. They
Robert
literally
Saleh.
I think they did a complete 180. They picked a coach who knows how to get along with players and can manage personalities, and a coach that likes to and gets along with the media. Not
and a defensive-minded thing. I think.
I absolutely love that. I think he's the best coach in this hire, but I don't think he's the best fit. I think maybe a couple years ago when you have Jamal Adams, you have Leonard Williams.
They chose him, and instantly they said Sam Darnold's our dude, and we want to work to grow this team. They didn't say that we want to trade everybody away and start from scratch. He said, I see talent and I want to make it work.
He's a defensive-minded coach. I don't think Jets have the defense, though.
Yeah,
I don't think
but he can build the defense. That's
Jets
just
have nothing.
Yeah, you have to build everything
that. Right, and he's willing to. That's the point. Like, he's willing to build a defense that works best for his vibe. He isn't trying to trade in all these different guys. He wants to draft the guys he likes and build that around young talent. It's very much that, like, Brown's mindset of, we sucked at this, so we're going to draft all these young guys and build them into the roles we need them to fit. And I think it'll turn out pretty good.
Here's the thing. You're in New York. It's a big market. He's going to be gone in 3 years. Because
no one cares about the Jets.
They want to return right now. They want to go from being in the crapper to winning.
It's a Tennessee situation where every year you need to be good.
New York has fired guys that coached in New York that they got rid of because they didn't do it fast enough.
Rex Ryan.
Exactly. I just don't see it happening.
Was Belichick the coach for one day there, or was that the Giants?
He was there one day. Belichick was the coach for one day.
Oh, I thought that was the Giants, but
nope, it was all right. Yeah, I was like, it's
Browns
one of the two.
Fired Belichick too.
I know. I'm just saying that the Jets. It's too big of a market to struggle. You can get away with it in Cleveland, Detroit, stuff like that. You're not going to get away with it in the biggest NFL market in the country.
No, I think definitely with Matt Patricia there just recently getting fired, it goes to show that you can get away with it in a Detroit where there's nothing that Detroit looked to be improving on, and he spent 3 years there.
My pick for the best one here is Dan
Detroit.
Campbell. Yeah.
Dan Campbell? Really? I have him as my second worst.
He is my presser. That just because of the presser, he is my guy. That man is high energy, and I think he's going to try really hard.
But now you're talking about cutting Matt Stafford?
Yeah. Hopefully he goes to Indy.
I don't know
go to Indy.
I think Stafford in Chicago, that makes the Bears instant contenders, where you give David Montgomery and Allen Robinson a real quarterback.
But that guy, solely off of the coaching, I know front office might be getting rid of Stafford, but I think they're going to try and pick up Trey Lance for that first-round pick.
Okay, so
But,
one of my favorites talking yesterday, he said that Mitchell Trubisky was in the top 10 quarterbacks in fantasy points last year, and Tom Brady.
Who said that?
Fantasy points don't mean shit.
Fantasy.
Patrick Mahomes. And Tom
Players
Brady.
don't care about your fantasy points. They don't
I want
care
to
about
see
your team.
wins. I want to see wins on the board.
All that
I
matters
don't care
is wins
that-
and losses.
yeah,
if
I
you're
don't
a
care if you put
quarterback.
up points in fantasy. He still sucks. He can't get the job done.
Dang,
I mean, how many
everybody
of
just
those
attacked
garbage-
Brady for having an opinion.
Yeah,
No, we're attacking
Yeah, the
his
poor
friend.
kid.
For
We're
we're
having an
attacking his
opinion.
friend. We're attacking his friend for
How
having
many
a
of those
crappy
fantasy
opinion.
points are in garbage time when the Bears?
Yeah,
I mean, the Bears and the Saints, they were down 30-10, and he threw a couple touchdowns to make it close. But that's your
It
fantasy
means
points right
nothing.
there. It means nothing.
Okay,
either way, I
follow-up
said-
question though.
yeah.
Where if Matthew Stafford leaves, where is he going?
Indianapolis. Indianapolis.
Not that you
England.
want not that you want him to go there. Where do you think he will
Oh,
go?
realistically, I still think Indianapolis. They need a quarterback.
don't see
They have trade capital and they have cap space. That's Indy can take whatever quarterback they want. They hate first round picks. We've seen them traded away multiple times.
Yeah, but
So
they literally just did the whole older quarterback who never got it done vibe.
Stafford's
with Phillip
in
Rivers,
his
and it
early
didn't work.
30s.
Yeah, he's not.
but
he's
he's
not
not
as old
old.
as Philip Rivers.
Well, of course, no one's as old as Phillip Rivers, and that would be trading for.
Nobody has as many children as Philip Rivers.
Nobody will ever.
Antonio
also
Cromartie.
I would say the Colts also had Antonio Cromartie. So
But like that's what I'm saying though. Like he's not that young kid. Like look at the AFC and the NFC this year. The quarterbacks
yeah, the old
that
versus
made it.
young.
Yeah, like young.
The average age of the NFC quarterback was 35.
37 and a half.
37 and a half.
Baker Mayfield was the oldest one in
And
the
the
AFC. at
average age was
25.
24.
Like they're not
Mm.
gonna go for somebody who's on the downhill decline. Like no offense to Matthew Stafford, he's a great guy. He should be a Hall of Famer, but he just got
32.
stuck in a crappy team. But like
But no, I
physically,
think the
he's
Colts
on
are very
the
much in
decline.
a win now.
He
for-
has 4
They don't
years.
have time
Yeah.
to be.
At this point, yeah, you just need a quarterback. So Deshaun
Yeah, I think they're a
or
quarterback
couple
away.
first-rounders or
I think
That's what I'm
Deshaun's
saying.
obviously everyone's
Deshaun would
first
make more
point.
sense.
Philip Rivers is 39.
Well, it makes sense for
so-
everyone. Deshaun's a
Deshaun's
top
a
5
great
quarterback
quarterback,
in this
yeah.
league. He put up MVP level stats. He's not there because he's in Houston. But if he did that with a winning team,
That's what I'm saying. I
He's in
think
the
they
top
would
3 for MVP.
rather go for Deshaun than for Matthew
Oh,
Stafford.
But
of course.
it's
but we have
cheaper
to
to
think
get
realistically.
Stafford.
It's
Yeah.
cheaper to get Stafford. Stafford is most likely a cut. You're going to have to give up. Well, who knows? Actually, it's Houston. You might get him for a second, like you got Hobson.
Finish my thought, please.
All right, so Erin
Yes.
back in.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying I think that they would rather go for Stafford or for Deshaun Watson, and Stafford will end up in a system that is a win right now at all costs because we don't have money situation like a Saints. Like this, Drew Brees is done,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
We all agree.
He is a
No,
meeting
he
has
away
said
from
he's
Super-
retired.
Yeah.
Right. They're not going anywhere with Jameis Winston. Like they know that, we know that. It's very obvious.
Now,
So
hold on.
they
I
don't
think
have the money
Jameis is
to-
the best free
Yeah,
agent
Jameis
quarterback
has
coming up.
potential.
Jameis threw a touchdown in that playoff game. He's 1 for 152 yards and a touchdown. Perfect passer
yeah.
rating.
Yeah, because he threw 1 touchdown all year because he had 1 shot at it.
Yeah, he had-
LASIK
he had-
Jameis
He had 33
LASIK
touchdowns
Jameis
last season.
is going to be.
And 30 interceptions.
But he had
So-
more
Who
touchdowns.
cares?
So he had more.
You're
Yeah, more
saying that you
touchdowns.
have being 50-50 means you're going to be the man of a team that has 1 more year at winning. Otherwise, they're going to lose everything because they don't
The
have the money
man
to keep
couldn't
it.
see.
No, you get Stafford. You get Stafford. He has the mental IQ. He has the mental toughness. They have 1 year. The Saints have 1 year to win. Otherwise, they lose everybody because they don't have the money. Yes,
All right.
like that's
Austin.
fact.
I agree with you,
I-
Aaron.
You go and get
I
Stafford.
like the fit, but I also think the Colts are in a win now.
Yeah, the Colts are in a
position right now.
situation. I think
But
the
they're
Colts
younger.
and
The Colts are younger and have more space. So why not get a younger quarterback who can stay with you
Mhm.
longer? Like
Aaron,
to
you're
me,
right.
that just makes perfect sense. I don't know why you'd want Matthew Stafford to keep him for 2 to 3 years. Because he's gonna be in 3 years. Say he signs a 3-year contract. He's 35. You want to keep him and sign him for another 3-year contract? Like, no.
fair
There are
enough, I will say.
their quarterbacks don't play in their 40s. Like Drew Brees and Tom Brady are anomalies. That's not common.
Mhm.
Don't act like it's common. It's never been common. So
Yeah,
like
Philip
he's
Rivers
gonna
didn't even
be
make it to his
done by
40.
he's
Yeah, Stafford's not going to be a breeze. He's played behind that Detroit offensive line for 12 years of his
Right.
career.
Right. So you're saying the Colts want to risk everything for a dude for 3 years when they can get Deshaun Watson and get 7 out of him?
The issue is right now Rivers is gone. Your backup Jacoby Brissett is now a free agent, and apparently New England's really going to try and pursue him and Jimmy G, get those two back.
Yeah, they're stupid to let him go in the first place.
Yeah. So the Colts will be Jacob Eaton.
Well, were they stupid when
or
Tom Brady is winning Super Bowls for you?
Yes, because Tom Brady is old. You got to keep one of the two. Like they should have kept Jacoby.
And they didn't really trade him away for a whole lot.
They should have kept Jacoby. I don't know if you could keep Garoppolo. I don't think they're in a situation.
They both were successful with their respective teams. I think this year with injuries, Jimmy G didn't look as successful. Brissett didn't look as good after he got injured with the Colts last year. That being said, he also was kind of thrown to the wolves when Andrew Luck decides he's going to retire out of the blue. But I think the Colts are in a situation in which you need a quarterback. It's either give away 3 first-rounders, because that's what every analyst is saying you're going to get Deshaun for. And I think that's a possibility. The Colts really don't like their first-round picks. They'll trade them away with no problem. Stafford is my number 2 pick for it. I think he's the more realistic option because you can get him for less. I know people keep saying Wentz, but he is just too much cap space, and the Colts really like keeping players on the cheap and not spending a ton of money. And spending that much on Wentz is just any team that picks him up now is dead cap. You're gonna hope that he doesn't get hurt, and you don't have to pay him $30 million. You could draft one obviously, but the Colts have shown they really don't like taking those first round risks. They'll spend a second or a third on them. Julian Blackmon, Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson, all were second, third round picks that have really turned into great players. Jonathan Taylor was a second round pick, and he was 3rd or 4th in rushing. I do think the Colts will 100% give away first round picks for a quarterback. I don't know who they'll get. I think the top 2 are Deshaun and Stafford. Yeah, Stafford is older, but you're in a situation where you're a quarterback away from being very successful. And then we'll get back into that in a second. I think we'll talk about team success in a little bit.
Here's what I think. Stafford to Chicago, Deshaun to Indy. New Orleans does nothing. They use the next year to figure out what they're going to do. They got a clear cap space. They'll stick with Jameis and take a down year to figure out what's going on.
But by signing Taysom Hill to 3 years, $24 million?
Yeah, that was a mistake, I think.
That I don't like that at all, but don't you think they've also sort of handed the keys to him? They've been grooming him all season. I mean, you've had Jameis waiting, but you continue to play Taysom Hill. I think that says something that you want Taysom Hill to take over this team.
Taysom Hill can be a Swiss Army knife in your offense.
But you don't want him as a starter because you eliminate him as the Swiss Army knife.
Without Breeze, they did start him.
Yeah, and he was fairly successful, but he's more successful as a utility guy.
Exactly.
You know that he will have more success whenever you can flex him out to a wide receiver.
Thinking.
Yeah, I think
that
that
would
would
a lot of sense.
If that was their plan, don't you think they would have done that without Breeze? But no, they just said, Taysom, you're starting now. They could have had Jameis starting and kept Taysom in that Swiss Army knife role, which I think makes sense, which what I would have done. But no, they said, Taysom, get under center.
Yeah.
Or do you think that they were more worried about making Jameis the type of quarterback that they could use in a system? Like the Saints are not the same system that the Bucs had when he was there.
Not at all.
Bruce very much had to transition very different into the role. Yeah, he very much had to transition into the role. So they figured we're probably not going to win these games anyway. Why throw this man to the wolves that the media and the city start hating on him and saying we need to trade him when he's not ready for it? Why not give him the extra so long and use Taysom Hill? I don't like if the Saints go with Taysom Hill, I think that's the poorest football decision possibly made. Like I don't understand how that can be argued. When you have
I just think if Jameis Winston is in your future, if you do want to use him, you play him during those games. But I understand that argument, but I don't know if the NFL has ever had a problem with throwing people to the wolves.
I think we've seen that in some previous situations. I'm not sure which ones, but
especially a veteran quarterback.
in depth in a little bit. We'll get through some other news.
Okay,
NHL
I'll make it quick. My favorite coach was Arthur Smith. I think.
Okay. I even forgot we were talking about that still. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, get back because I wanted to say it. I think with Matt, what he did in Tennessee made Derrick Henry a monster, revived Tannehill's career. You can do very much the same in Atlanta, where you have Matt Ryan, who was an MVP at one point. You have Julio
Todd
Jones
Gurley.
and Calvin Ridley and Todd Gurley, who was one of the best running backs.
He was
in the
a
league.
very good running back for years.
Just a couple years. If his glass knees hold up,
yeah,
you might see a really good team in Atlanta next year.
But yeah, we'll get to the rest of our news. NHL did begin January 13th. I know it's not something we're all huge on, but it is something that did begin. Stanley Cup, I think, is one of the cooler trophies you get in professional sports. But yeah, NHL began.
I'm very much into playoff hockey.
Yeah,
hockey is only right behind the mayonnaise trophy.
Yeah,
the mayonnaise
trophy. Second to the mayonnaise trophy.
But yeah, I do think that hockey and MLS are two growing sports in the United States. I do think we're seeing it with baseball kind of dying right now with its marketability.
Hockey will forever be one of the slowest growing sports just because it financially is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Like basketball can be or football can be. Like football,
the cost to just play it casually is a ton of money.
Well, even to play in general. Look at where we are. Like, well, I guess where you guys are. The closest team is a half an hour away. You have to buy all of your own equipment, all of your own pads, all of your own skates, all of that. And you have to worry about driving to and fro. That's just to try out.
Yeah.
Like, and there's one ice skating rink also a half an hour away. Like, it just hockey.
It's not super accessible in parts of the country.
Yeah. Play in the project or anything like that.
I mean,
so
that's a huge reason why basketball is exploding right now, especially overseas. Is you need a ball, you need a hoop.
Yeah, and
you don't even need a ball, you need a hoop. How many times have you shot in the trash cans like Kobe, or had someone guard you on a shot of a crumpled up piece of paper,
or the little Nerf backboard and you're
a little Nerf
on the back of a door. But yeah, it is something I think it's slowly growing as just a spectator thing. But yeah, we did get to see that start. Other news: Philip Rivers did announce his retirement. Him, his 10 kids, and his wife got to announce it. I think it's 10 kids. All right, here's the question: Will he be a Hall of Famer? Will Philip Rivers? Will he go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he'll go.
Yeah, if Marino's in, Rivers is in. Rivers surprisingly has better numbers than
so
Marino.
far. Just Philip Rivers. Brees actually hasn't announced it yet. He hasn't officially announced it. He just very much kind of like, this is my last ride. And
I thought he officially announced it.
I looked it up because I was like,
saw someone tweet it.
No official announcement. Everyone knows it's coming. The owners, the fans, everyone knows it. It's just no official announcement has been made yet.
I'm talking beyond quarterbacks though, like every other position, because you have to be retired for 5 years, and then they take generally 5 or 6 modern era players, and that's anyone. So like, I don't know.
In his year currently, Fitzgerald hasn't announced yet. Frank Gore hasn't announced yet. It's one of those ones where I don't think there's a lot of guys that, again, at this point, we haven't seen a lot of guys in his draft class announce retirement yet. So.
Well, not necessarily draft class. A lot of his draft class is definitely done. But like,
his retirement class, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of them. So right now he could be a first balloter, but I think he's a second year in for me.
I don't think he'll be a first ballot at all.
No.
The fact that Terrell Owens was a third ballot.
Clay Matthews Sr. still hasn't made it in.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics that goes behind who gets picked, and there's literally no way, in my opinion, that he can be a first ballot.
Because Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson are first ballots.
First ballot.
Philip Rivers is a second or third. I respect him. He was very good in San Diego.
More than third, but
yeah.
Wasn't the year that Peyton Manning retired also the year that Charles Woodson retired?
Yes, Woodson, Fitzgerald, and Calvin Johnson are all up for it this year.
Yeah, like the Hall of Fame will, and from my experience, because this is not true, the Hall of Fame will hold people back based off of money. Like the one year that I was there, their biggest name going in was like Jerry Jones that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The money was not there the same when Brett Favre went in or Michael Strahan went in. Like that one modern era golden ticket, pretty face dude is a lot bigger than like the year that Brian Urlacher went in. He's a great guy. He obviously had a great career, no knocking him, but like he isn't the money appeal. So it really wouldn't surprise me if someone who should be like on the 1 to 2 tier gets bumped down to 2, or in the 2 to 3 tier gets bumped down to 3, so he can be the man that year.
Yeah, that's possible. I do think since this is last year for Clay Matthews, we'll maybe see that. But yeah, like Philip Rivers, for me, second year, third year, great quarterback when he was in San Diego. Indy, he didn't look as great. His final years in San Diego, as they're getting ready to move to LA, he didn't look as great. But I think he makes it.
To me, Philip Rivers is the anti-Eli Manning. Eli Manning finishes the exact same touchdowns to interceptions, a very average statistical quarterback. He has 2 rings and 2 tries.
Yeah.
Now, Philip Rivers, he is great stats. He's, like I said, actually surprisingly better than Marino's stats, who is in no AFC championships, no Super Bowls, but you have thrown for 5,000 yards a year.
Yeah. And that is the big factor.
And Philip are always going to be tied together because of the draft.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It started their careers.
That Eli had to be a whiny baby and say, I'm not going to go to San Diego, and forced his way out. So then Philip Rivers got traded away from the Giants. What could have been was the other way around. We see Philip Rivers get 2 rings in New York and have his great stats, and Eli's just this bum in San Diego.
Okay, that could be the argument for literally anyone.
No, they actually got traded. If Eli Manning said, I won't play for the Chargers,
I understand.
send me to so that's a different what if than everything else.
No, you can use the what if of what if this person went 1 and this person went 2, like the whole Ryan Leaf situation and Peyton Manning. What if they would have gone to different teams?
Yeah.
You don't know what would have happened. Peyton Manning might not have been Peyton Manning. You can't use the argument of what ifs just because.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is a very different what if.
No, it's not.
There was a point in time when they existed, and Eli Manning had to throw a fit about it.
He never threw a touchdown. He never threw one single pass in San Diego. So it doesn't. It's not the same what if.
Because he threw
on teams for minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a trade, so you can't say that like it's the same thing.
I'm saying that the legacy of Archie Manning and Peyton led to Eli being spoiled and going, I don't want to play for that
fault,
team.
Though.
Yes, it is.
It's Eli's fault that he was born into a family where his dad and his brother are professional athletes. That's Eli's fault.
It's his fault that he was like, oh,
no,
I'm not just going to.
That's not his fault. That's his legacy. That's not his fault.
How many players have demanded a trade in the draft?
He did not choose family members or his family members' career. You cannot say fault. Period.
But since then, how many guys in the first round have went, I don't want to play for them. No, send me somewhere else. And it hasn't happened. And there's legacy guys that have been
doesn't mean that it's his fault.
That have went in the first round.
Fault is not the proper word to use.
All right, let's look at this draft right coming up.
Okay.
What if Lawrence says, I do not want to play for Jacksonville? Jacksonville takes him. They end up trading him to the Jets. That's the same scenario.
Exactly. And that's not his fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying, what if Peyton doesn't go to the Colts? He's like, I don't want to play for the Colts. They suck.
Exactly.
So that's the stigma that sticks with Eli. It's not the fact that he chose that. It's the fact that, dude, you went to the big market to make the money.
Right. And like that's because of that doesn't make him a better or a worse quarterback.
I don't think
he just his stats do that. His stats
show that he's not a good quarterback.
But his rings show that he can be.
His defenses show that he could. But I'm saying that in this
situation, the Hall of Fame off of 1 or 2 ballots, and Philip Rivers.
Eli will get in off of his name and the fact that he has 2 rings because of very good defenses.
Eli always holds a special place for me because he beat Belichick twice.
Yeah, the people that beat Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were Nick Foles, Eli Manning, and Eli Manning. And it's kind of like, well, they were also carried by amazing defenses that were able to shut down Tom Brady. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I don't think Eli deserves a ballot and Philip Rivers does solely off of stats, because especially in the NFL, a ring's a team stat. That is something you can't just accomplish with one good player.
Well, tell that to the fans.
Wait, no, honestly, I'm
I think
very confused by your statement, Gibb. You said he doesn't deserve a ballot off of stats because it's a team sport, so they're team stats.
Okay,
Is that
so I'm saying Eli Manning's stats not great. They're not good at all. Very mediocre.
He doesn't deserve a ballot because of his stats. Period.
And his rings don't mean anything. Especially in the NFL, rings should mean less than the NBA. NBA, I don't think they mean a whole lot, but the NBA rings mean more than the NFL does, because you need 25 plus guys to all be successful to win a Super Bowl. The NBA,
so your argument is Eli Manning does not deserve to get into the Hall of Fame. You do not believe
he doesn't have the stats or the rings. I think Philip Rivers has the stats, even though he lacks the rings.
I'm talking about Eli Manning, not Philip Rivers.
Not at all.
That's all I wanted to know. Because you were saying he doesn't deserve to get in, but he will get in, and I'm like, that.
Oh, he will. That's the thing. He will get in because of.
He says he doesn't think he should get in, but he will anyway over more deserving people
off of
because of his name
and his rings. But I think rings shouldn't matter as much, and his name should not carry as much as what it does.
He thinks rings are an overrated stat, but they are very much.
They still become a factor,
but they shouldn't be.
Yes,
understood.
So,
Dan Marino. Next? All right. So next up, Dwayne Haskins to Pittsburgh. I think we're all celebrating this as Browns fans. My question was, how good are the strip clubs?
Is not good.
How good are the strip clubs in Pittsburgh that you were able to get Haskins to come there?
Are you acting like Columbus has great strip clubs? Like, I don't understand what you're like.
No, the fact that he got cut from Washington because he was constantly in strip clubs. I don't know the quality of Washington's, but it's one of those ones. It's much like James Harden.
Capital.
Yeah. Erin, you're our expert on DC strip clubs.
All I'm saying, I've never been to a strip club in DC, but I'm telling you, the bars and nightlife here is 1,000 times better than the bars and nightlife in Columbus.
Yeah, but that's also.
And how does Columbus compare to Pittsburgh?
I've never been to the bars in Pittsburgh, but my roommate has here, and one of my best friends from home, Olivia, has, and they love it. Like, they would rather drive to Pittsburgh from West Virginia or from other places in Pennsylvania than drive to Columbus. So
Pittsburgh has the most bars per capita in America.
Yeah. So maybe he's like bars, strip clubs, Pittsburgh. Go there.
I don't know. All I'm saying is he's a very similar style of quarterback to Big Ben, and if they can
we can only hope.
He's built like an uncle.
Well, no, the fact that he's a brick wall, he's not very fast. He has a strong arm, and the style of quarterback is very similar to Ben. He's not. He's young, so if you can just slide him in, and they can stay consistent with where they're at.
Oh, I hope they do.
I don't see where Haskins has shown anything where he is an NFL caliber quarterback right now.
I think looking at college, he was very good. But whenever
you can talk builds, you can talk play style, but he has not shown where he is
as
good.
Big Ben. But Big Ben's build is kind of a problem.
Washington kept a quarterback that shouldn't be in the NFL. The guy should be dead.
The guy shouldn't be walking, and they kept him, but didn't keep the guy that's built like Big Ben and plays like Big Ben.
Right. Well, there's also a leadership aspect of that. Like, you want your quarterback to be a leader.
Yeah.
Like, Smith
not going to strip clubs during weeks without a mask. Well, that's kind of the issue that I have with it, is that why are you taking a guy that has proven to have discipline issues?
Oh, and especially in a Steelers locker room that lacks a leader right now.
Yeah, that lacks discipline.
I mean, we see Chase Claypool going out on Instagram and TikTok and talking shit about the Browns. We talk same thing with Juju, same thing with Eric Ebron, same thing with Pouncey, same thing with
an issue on their team. Their quarterback was literally accused of rape.
Yeah, like other discipline issues.
They've always had discipline issues. It's all about if Tomlin can reel them in.
Like, and it doesn't look like he can anymore. It looks like he's losing his grip.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a good segue to pick the teams on the up and the down.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we're going to use this to segue in. We still have a little bit more news, but we'll cover that after the 3 uphill and downhill.
All right.
So my 3 uphill.
Wait, before we start, we have to let each other completely finish before we interrupt.
Yeah. So we'll do our 3 uphill.
Say your explanations. Just say 3 up, 3 down, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Don't
my
say
3
why,
up.
Just say 3 up, 3 down.
My 3 up are the Colts, the Browns, and the Washington football team. My 3 down are Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Houston.
My 3 up are going to be the Browns, the Colts, and the Falcons. My 3 down, the Saints. Can't think of it. Jesus, Lord above. I don't know. I can't think right now. The Steelers. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Brady. And then I don't know right now. I'll think in a second. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
John?
I said my best my on the upswing or staying are the Browns, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. And then Houston Saints and Steelers are on the downswing.
All right. Brady?
Oh, it was Houston. That was my last one.
Houston.
Thank you.
Okay. I have like 4 up: Browns, Cowboys, Miami, and Rams.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
And your 3 down?
I have 4. Wait, let me think. What was the other one I had that was a down? They were like.
Let me guess. Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Houston, and then there's
Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and the Eagles.
The Eagles.
And Dad?
All right, the 3 coming up: Buffalo, Cleveland, and the Chargers.
Okay.
Going down: Pittsburgh, Houston, and New England.
Okay.
New England. Okay.
All right. I think a lot of us picked the Browns. Young core really looked good this year. I don't think that's
and
one that
you bring in
there's not a lot of contention.
You're going to keep him for a while. You're going to lock down Stefanski. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And Baker, I think he took a step forward this season. He's going to take another bigger step, not having to deal with another coach, another offensive coordinator, another system. Consistency is key, especially in the NFL. The longer you can play in a system, the better you are.
Yeah. I think.
And plus, you got Odell back.
Yeah. Indy and Washington were my other 2. I think that they're just a quarterback shy of being very good teams. I think we saw that in their playoff games. They kept it close with teams that are now in the championship. And they kept it close to the point where it was like everyone during the game is just like different quarterback. They win that game. I was talking with somebody, I don't remember who, and they're like, Indy would have won that game had it been someone other than Philip Rivers. So yeah, that's why I picked Washington and Indy as my other 2. Buffalo was my 4th one. And I had them in mind, and I was like, they're really good right now. I think they'll stay good. So that's my reasoning for that. My 3 teams on the down.
Wait, we're only doing up right now.
We're up. So
only up right
Erin,
now.
I'll let you go for the up now.
I picked the Falcons because there is nowhere further for them to go down, baby. It is all uphill from here, whether it be a win or not. But I think that they have the potential to grow. However, again, mostly it's because they were so down this year that I expect more from them, and I imagine I will get it this year.
Yeah.
And then the Colts, I agree. They're a team that is a lot of hard-nosed, like work deep.
Jonathan Taylor's looking very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really grind out teams that are going to be upset that they didn't get there this year, so they want to make it happen. Like, they honestly very much remind me of the type of mentality the Browns have.
Yeah, young guys that are really hungry for it.
Yeah.
You have a few guys that were really big names that are kind of trying to prove it, but a lot of the guys are nobodies that kind of went underneath the radar. You have one big defensive lineman guy and running backs that have something to prove. There's a lot of parallels between Indy and Cleveland.
Right. So that's why I think that, like, you're right. They really just need that one. I feel like they're one piece away. And there's a lot of opportunities this year between the draft and between quarterbacks wanting to leave and teams wanting to get rid of quarterbacks.
Free agency.
Right. I think that they might click this year. So that's why I have my people on the up.
Yeah. All right. So John, your upswing.
I said the Browns. I said why already. The Bengals, I think if they draft Sewell, they get Burrow an offensive line. I don't think 8 wins was out of the question for them this previous year. because they lose Burrow for the last 6 games. They're already at 4 wins. 4.
All right.
I think 9-7 in the hunt isn't crazy for them next year if they get Burrow aligned. Burrow takes a step, and they can continue to form that connection with T. Higgins. Burrow to T looked.
Yeah, it looked
flashbacks of Carson to Ocho.
I think it's all going to be about if Burrow can get healthy.
Yeah,
and
that's your big factor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing of QB.
Now, I don't actually know if I want them to be good or I want Taylor gone and them to hire Bieniemy. Because no one's hired Bieniemy yet. I mean, Houston, but they're not even looking at him. I know why. I'm not going to say it, but
Oh yeah, never mind. I realized.
So that's why the Chiefs were on my also on the upswing. You bring back the best offensive.
Go.
Yeah. How much higher can you go? That was my question. Higher. You just won a Super Bowl and you're in an AFC Championship. How much higher can you go?
So even if as good as they are, I still think they were a better team last year and maybe even the year before. I think they've limped into the playoffs, which a limping Chiefs is still better than most of the league.
Yeah.
You return Bieniemy, who has not been hired. You're getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. You have a full season of Le'Veon Bell. You return everyone else. And I think they're going to still continue to be great. But I think they can even get better.
All right. Brady.
And that's what's scary about them.
All right, so I picked the Browns. Like John said, they're getting Odell back. Hear me out. Look how the Ohio State game went when they had Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. Both distractions. So Odell's going to be a distraction for the defense, as if Jarvis Landry and Higgins are. Pick the Cowboys because you're getting half of your offensive line back, half your defense back, your quarterback back, and you're going to get a draft pick. Plus, Zeke might come back and have a great year.
I think you put your chips on Pollard as a running back after this year. Pollard's your guy, not Zeke. But I do think they do have potential. So your other two.
I picked Miami because they made the playoffs. Because they made the playoffs. 2 is your guy. Fitzmagic can always rotate in. Decent defense, decent offense. Need a wide receiver core. And the running backs decent. They could fix that. But, hey, you made the playoffs. You did as good as you could.
You definitely saw glimpses of a really good team this year.
Yeah, Miami, I will say, you're saying they're a decent defense. They're really good on paper, and it's something that I think everyone ignored. They have a corner that's leading the league in interceptions by 4 or 5, and they have defensive linemen and linebackers that are out-sacking most big-name defensive ends, and it doesn't make any sense why they didn't make it. Obviously, there are other issues I think that need addressed maybe, but that 1-2 punch of offense and the Tua Fitzmagic 1-2 punch worked. And they're a team that should be they're Buffalo's big competition. It's not New England, it's Miami. Who was your fourth, Brady?
Rams. Great defense. Could get Jared Goff a good year. Get a running game, get some wide receivers. You're back in the NFC.
I think your issue is Goff. I think run game Cam Akers proved himself. I think your issue is Goff.
I don't know. Goff had.
I think you need to get a second wide receiver to put beside Cooper Kupp. I think Robert Woods is not shaping out as the second.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks was great, and they traded him away. But. Yeah, I think another receiver would help that team be dangerous, and maybe another quarterback just to help motivate Goff to be more competitive. Dad?
All right. So I have a solution to the Rams problem, and I have for the Browns. The Browns are coming up, but what do we need? We need a better defense.
Yeah.
What do we have to get rid of?
Corners.
We have Odell to get rid of because we don't need him. You get rid of him, you pick up defense, your defense gets stronger. We made it a whole year without him. He makes zero effect on the team. He may even help not the locker room not being there.
No, that's not true.
You have people Jones to catch the ball.
I mean, he
can
is
make
a leader
the circus
in that locker
catches.
room.
I still think he leads.
he is a leader in that locker room, despite the media narrative. He was the one. If you hear these Jarvis interviews and these other people interviews, he was the one trying to fix Baker and Todd Haley. He was the one trying to fix Baker and Kitchens.
Yeah,
Right.
He's trying to be a uniter.
I think he's
But-
very much over
And
his.
plus-
Go ahead.
But
Brady.
here's the thing: we proved between the lines, we don't need him. Like
yeah,
I said, people with Jones can make the freak catches that Odell can make.
yeah.
I think the Browns' offense looked a little better with him in there. It looked a little more dynamic. Baker was
Well, we
not a
didn't
better
look the
quarterback.
Yeah.
But
But you can use that leverage of having him
Mm-hmm.
to get some defense out of him. You know,
Yeah.
trade him to
Yeah.
somebody else and pick somebody up. Use him to get you what you need.
Yeah, get
Mhm.
something.
So
taken
that's what
away.
Cleveland needs to keep moving up. Buffalo, I think they're just going to keep rolling. The relationship that
Josh Allen and Stephon
Josh
Diggs.
Allen and Diggs have is incredible. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch. I think they have a good thing going there.
Mm-hmm.
They actually
My
played video
one
games together in
is
the
the
offseason.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Think what they did with the horrible coach that they had.
True.
Yeah, that is a
I
very
mean,
good point.
Like you said, Aaron, about Atlanta, it's all up from here. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Chargers games just to watch Herbert because the guy's something.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's what's going to. I
They
think
have
they're
an
gonna come
offensive
up. I
line.
think getting the coach from the Rams
And that
is
defense
really going to help
Mhm.
and help with their defense.
Yeah, and
Plus, they
and
just
have a
got
really good
another
made
defense.
guy
that
from the
Rams
Rams.
defense fearsome, and the Chargers have the same pieces. They have very good corners. They have a very good secondary.
Yeah.
And they have Joey Bosa.
Yeah, and they have an above average defensive line. I
Yeah.
think that clock management is what killed them. That's really the
Mhm.
big thing that killed the Chargers winning games was poor clock management. So yeah,
Mhm.
I could
It's
definitely
like
see them.
that.
It
being
was
good.
coaching that kind of did them
Yeah,
in.
poor
They
coaching is what killed you.
led the league in games decided by less than a possession.
That
And they
And
did
last
well
night
with a
in
horrible
losses.
coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the more season Justin Herbert gets at the role, the better he'll be able to take over in those situations too.
yeah.
So
Okay,
I
can
think
finish
that
my
was
thing
a
with
great
the
move.
Browns?
So the three
Yeah.
downhill teams I have in
No,
my
no, Brady wants to finish his
oh
statement.
Brady, what do you got?
Yes.
Baker was trying to force the ball to Odell. Now he doesn't. Now he didn't have him. Made better throws. Now he doesn't know he has to force the ball to him. So he's gonna be a better distraction. That's why we need him.
But
I
why-
get where Brady's
yeah.
coming from, but I understand and honestly think money wise,
yeah.
Steve's opinions like more GM.
Why would you pay for a distraction? You're paying a ton of money for some guy to just be a distraction, and that's an issue. Especially
No, Jarvis can be the distraction.
guys like
Odell, get him get his numbers. Let him eat.
Exactly.
well, Julio, Devontae, D Hop are all your number one guy, and your number two isn't really a distraction. They're just able to make the great catches.
I
You
don't
don't
think
see
a
other
wep-
teams paying crazy money just for a guy to distract. That's why I see him getting traded.
But
Is you don't pay
Stefanski's
12
such a
million
good coach.
year
You're not
just
going to have.
distract.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
If
going to
you're
have
playing
him
his
working
role
in
as
the
that,
offense.
it's not going to work. I think he could be good, and we've seen him years ago. Whenever he's with the Giants, he was really good. He was everyone's top 3 receivers.
Mhm.
If we can see him get that back, we're good. If not, I don't see why you keep him as just a distraction.
No, the thing is, the Browns receiving core, they don't have a lot of speed. Odell
Yeah.
brings that speed. They need a deep threat.
Yeah, and that'll be the big factor.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll go to the 3 downhill teams. I think we all picked Pittsburgh for various reasons, whether it be
Yeah.
them losing the
No
Browns
quarterbacks.
that your quarterback situation and your run game situation look like
and
they
your
won't be
cap
addressed.
situation.
Yeah, your cap
You-
situation's at risk.
You're at 14 players under contract for the next couple of years.
Yeah, but if you re-sign
And
Ben, it's
you-
$40 million out of your cap, which is a ton of
He's-
money
Yeah,
for a
40
guy that's
million.
very old.
You can't cut him. You can't trade him. And if he retires, he's 40 million against the cap.
Yeah,
So you're down that. You're Minka Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt on rookie deals.
yeah, and they're both
You're
ending.
They are going to need to get paid.
Yeah,
You
they're
have
putting up
Juju
numbers
Smith
to get
on
it.
a rookie deal. I think Juju
he's a
obviously
free
is
agent
the
this
cut
year,
here.
so he'll get
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah, he can go elsewhere. I don't think you want to dish out money for Juju Smith-Schuster.
A
But-
bottom-ranked run game that hasn't been good
Yeah.
since Le'Veon Bell left. So it's either address a quarterback and get
A
somebody
very
young,
average offensive
or
line.
yeah, or get a running back. You have too many needs that need addressed and not enough time and not enough cap space to do it. So I think that's a lot of the issues. I don't think anyone thinks Tomlin's the problem, unless I'm wrong. And anyone, all right, so you're thinking Tomlin's a problem here?
Yes. I think here's why I think it. You, instead of getting rid of Ben, who is old. Ben is old. He's a $40 million hit, old. Instead of getting rid of him, you fire the offensive coordinator. So the guy calling the plays is the problem, not the guy throwing the interceptions and being Ben and not being great. That's the problem with
how
Pittsburgh.
much of that is the GM and that Tomlin?
Yeah, part of it.
But
Tomlin's
not a great coach. He's not a great coach. I don't know where everybody thinks he's a great coach. He's not a great coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's never had a losing team. And yeah, he's had great teams, but
he's not a great coach.
We've seen Cleveland coaches piss away good teams. All right, Erin.
Tomlin is not a great coach. I agree with Steve. I think that he was given the keys to a Lamborghini and told not to wreck it because he was so successful when he was a young coach starting out. People seem to think that he is a god.
I mean, what he did last year, he had the Steelers in playoff, and with Duck Hodges, they had the best offense, one of the better offensives with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Yeah. How can you say they're winning games with Duck Hodges? How can you say that's not a great coach?
Pittsburgh gets to play the Browns twice in some really horrible years. They get to play Cincinnati twice in some really horrible years. He got to play Joe Flacco twice a year.
There were 6 wins.
Get 6 wins off our division. It's really easy. And then you got to beat a couple other crap teams with a solid defense. Yeah. When Ben first came in, Ben was really good. And then Ben got the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
And they relied on the run game. They can't rely on Ben. They can't rely on the run game, and their defense is so-so.
Yeah. So that's the issue, is that a lot of your pieces that worked 5-6 years ago, you've kind of went, oh, well, the check engine light's on, I don't got to worry about it. And now you're at the point where it's like, shit's falling off the car, and you're just going to pretend like it's not happening. And Pittsburgh's in trouble. I don't think they can address every problem this year.
I think the mistake was not grooming a replacement.
Yeah,
this year, last year, or the year before.
Letting Ben throw his hissy fit, saying, "Well, you can't replace me if you."
Especially in a year where you don't have Ben last year.
Yeah.
If you think Mason's the guy, bring in another guy. You can't think Mason and Duck are the solution here. You can't think Duck Hodges is a long-term solution.
Yeah. And even other years where they had Vic that was way past his prime, they're just kind of just tape it back on. And you have too many problems that are all, well, no, we'll be fine. We got Big Ben. Oh, no, we'll be fine. We got James Conner. And it's kind of like, well, they're the duct tape solutions. They're not actual fixing problem kind of guys. Erin?
The Steelers have always been a organization that does not take risks. They have always been a consistent, they're like, literally they are known for being the consistent organization. They are consistently good, but not great. They are consistently tough, but not all the way there. They consistently have this, they consistently have that. They don't take the risks. They just stay consistent. And now
I don't know. I think the Minka trade was a risk.
Yeah.
Trading your first
for a safety.
Or a young guy who was
a stud.
Quick and fast. Yeah, like that's not really a risk. Like they know that they were getting someone that could back.
Yeah. It's trading.
I mean, he was not an elite safety.
Erin,
at the time, he was good, not great.
Yeah, Erin,
that's why it was.
He might have been
better about Pittsburgh.
That is 5 to 6 range.
I've ever heard Pittsburgh defined.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But for the most part, I agree. I think they're making more risks, but I do think the wheels are starting to fall off.
Yeah.
Because of
a lack of risk. On blocks.
Yeah. All right. So we also New Orleans. You're negative $99 million in cap space. You're losing your star quarterback that you've had for how long have they had Drew Brees? He was drafted in
We were in elementary.
2005.
They've had Breeze
2005.
as long as
16 years.
the Chargers had Rivers.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a situation where you have no money to spend. You have no current quarterback. And again, the big issue is you have no money. You have no draft picks this year. You have 3 draft picks in 2021 and negative 99 million in cap space. You are in serious trouble. You have to restructure everybody, cut whatever is non-essential, and hope that your draft picks don't ask for a ton of money. And that's a big issue. I know we all also said Houston. Players want out. They really don't like it there. Deshaun wants out. JJ wants out. You don't have any other big names that want to stay.
Yeah, especially when
trouble.
your leaders and the captains of your team want out. I mean, it's one thing to have star players want out, but captains, tenured captains wanting out.
JJ
and not just
too.
wanting out, they are furious.
Yeah.
Deshaun said he's at a 10 now.
They're not saying it behind closed doors. They're saying it to media. That means that they've been saying it behind closed doors. They weren't taken seriously, and they're taking their own future into their own hands.
Yeah.
Like
When Deshaun,
that, and the fact that they're not going to be able to sign any free agents because no one's going to want to go there. Because
And the solution to this, they think, is Jim Caldwell or Josh McCown.
Another issue is Deshaun says, take this GM. He's who I want. I'm your star player. You should kind of be listening to who I want for you to build a team. The last GM really kind of screwed me here. And then you go, well, the team chaplain said, take this guy. So we're taking this guy. And everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? Like the media, the players are like, why are you listening to this guy that has no football expertise? He's just here to kind of pray over the team before the game. And I get there's kind of a significance to that. Maybe
it's Texas. Christianity is very big in
it's a Texas chaplain, so I get he's kind of important, but you are paying this guy how much money and you're not going to listen to your star quarterback, guys that even whenever the team's terrible, he's supposed to be in the Pro Bowl.
And you've had former players who are speaking out. You have Andre Johnson,
legend. And another
Arian Foster,
both like get him out. He wants out. I get it. So yeah, Houston is in a lot of trouble. Some other teams that were said, I think me, Erin, and John all said the same 3 teams.
I think so, yeah.
Brady said the Eagles. So why are the Eagles?
I don't think the Eagles are dire, as you say, but
yeah, I want to hear why you think the Eagles are in trouble.
Well, okay, Miles Sanders, great running back. Defense, not the greatest. Malcolm Jenkins. Did they have Malcolm Jenkins?
Yeah, I think Malcolm Jenkins is still there.
Currently, yeah.
Okay, well, they have 2 defensive stars, Malcolm Jenkins and Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is not the greatest. Quarterback, not the greatest. Wide receiver core, not the greatest.
I think that the issue more exists with the new coach, that they were like, let's find a new Doug Peterson.
Malcolm Jenkins plays for the Saints.
He got sent to the Saints.
I'm pretty sure he's been on the Saints for like a year and a half.
The issue, Brady, you're right. You don't have a lot of star players. Heck, you took some random guy and Justin Jefferson was still on the board.
Yeah, but that's also the exact same argument we used with the Colts. They don't have a whole lot of stars. They have a lot of random players. As long as you have the right mentality and the right energy and vibe in the locker room.
And they don't have that.
And they don't have a leader. That's one thing they don't have.
You have Wentz saying, I want out of Philly, but he's also getting paid, I think, $35 million a year by Philly. And you're going, I don't want to be here because you took my starting spot away because I'm just getting sacked every other play. Hurts has shown a lot of potential. And I think that he was Peterson's guy, and Philly was like, no, we're paying Wentz. Wentz is your guy. So I think there's a lot of inner conflict. So they found a new Doug Peterson.
If the coach can pull it off this year, I feel like they
have potential with Hurts.
Their division sucks.
That's your other advantage, is you are in a crapshoot division.
Yeah, like it really all depends on if they can win the division, because if they can win the division. However, I feel like the Washington football team's on the up as well.
I feel like the 5 of us could win that division.
Also probably true.
That is also a possibility. Washington might be our hardest game.
Right. So like the whole, like the Eagles are not going to be good. I think Brady has that right. But compared to their division, I think they might be good.
Yeah.
So they
I don't think they're
They were still
most
2
down
games
bad.
away from winning their division. Let's remember that. Every team there was bad. Every team was until week 16 was a win away from being the division leader. So to say they're on the downhill, I don't think is accurate, but they're not. None of them are good.
Grand scheme of the NFL. In the grand scheme of the NFL, yes. If there were no divisions and you played whoever you wanted, yes.
I think Detroit is more down bad than the Eagles right now, especially if you're talking about cutting or trading Stafford. I don't see what talent is there.
Kenny Golladay is your big talent, and that's not a whole lot. Jeff Okudah proved in his rookie season he's not it. I keep seeing trade packages where they're already talking about getting rid of him because he wasn't a great corner.
Yeah, I think he went too high, but I think it's too early to give up on him.
A lot of these guys.
Although I am getting Eli Apple vibes from him now.
Yeah, Tua and Okudah both, they're saying trade away, and I'm like, it's too soon to do that. I don't think
definitely too soon to trade away Tua.
Tua or Okudah, who are both front half
I
draft
have
picks
seen
in the
a
first
lot
round.
of anti-Tua where they think him getting pulled late in games is
keep him healthy.
Bash against Tua. I think Fitzpatrick is better, but I still think the Dolphins believe in Tua. Him getting pulled is like, we're trying to win now.
I think it's a 1-2 punch situation where they're going, all right, Tua got us most of the way here. He's kind of looking a little shaky. Put in Fitzpatrick. You can't watch film extensively on both guys and comprehend it.
Yeah, because there have been situations where they kept Tua in and let him finish the game, but I don't think it's, especially when he's playing well and they still pull him. Or decently.
It's going, all right, well,
I don't think it's
get hurt.
Measure of talent.
Yeah.
Or a measure of confidence in him.
It's a safety issue. You're going, all right, well, Tua played 3 quarters. He's kind of taking some wear and tear here. Put Fitzpatrick in to end the game. Oh, Fitzpatrick's our starter. It's 3rd, 4th quarter. He gets pulled and Tua goes in. At this point, it's fresh legs. It's the same reason the Browns switch between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Yeah, it's not every play they switch, but you're just keeping them healthy. And I think that's the intelligent move, really. All right. So, Dad, which 3 teams do you say were on the downhill?
Pittsburgh, for all the reasons that we know that they are.
That previously discussed.
I watched them. I watched Pittsburgh this year, not as a Browns fan, but just as a football fan, and said multiple times, these guys are awful.
Yeah.
They have
when they were 11-0. Everyone outside of Pittsburgh knew
they were the shakiest.
Frauds.
They were the shakiest undefeated team ever.
Yeah, and they have a lot to address. They have locker room issues. They have quarterback issues. They have running game issues. They have receiving issues. Like I said, they have an average.
They're plagued with drops. I don't think a receiver could catch the ball, though. Even if Ben threw it to them, I don't think they could catch it.
So that's what I said about Pittsburgh on the down. I don't even know who else I said.
Probably New Orleans.
He said Houston and New England.
New England, yeah.
Houston's a dumpster fire. Everybody knows it. It reminds me of Cleveland not long ago. You know what I mean? When they're going to go through the Cleveland thing. They're going to go through a long line of coach after coach after coach until somebody finally gets it right. And nobody wants to be there right now, so it's hard to get other people to come. Your stars want to leave, so they're going to end up like the Browns were the year with DeShone Kizer. You only got him because nobody else wanted to play. They're going to end up with somebody that they're going to ruin their career. They're going to ruin several careers for a few years until somebody decides to right the ship. The one that I think is the biggest one that nobody addresses is New England.
Yeah,
that was left. I think we figured out what made New England great. It was Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to the NFC Championship game and a Bruce Arians offense. And Belichick's at home watching it.
Yeah.
Belichick, the years that Brady would, like the one year he got hurt and that Matt Castle was in, they weren't great, but they had great people.
They were
around
6-10.
him.
Yeah.
But they had good people around him. Now you have, and this is going to upset a lot of people. You have an average quarterback. Cam Newton is an average quarterback. Yeah. Look the numbers up. He is average.
He's on the same level as Matt Ryan, Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, a lot of guys that I think are your standard. Kirk Cousins.
The
Baker
problem
Mayfield,
is not Cam Newton in that offense. The problem is he's thrown to Gunnar Olszewski.
Yeah, the other
issue being
his best target is
a 5'10".
There's no Julian Edelman. There's no Danny Amendola.
5'10" white guys. Yeah.
All right, so here let me finish my New England thing. All right, so obviously we pointed out that you went from a once in a lifetime quarterback in Brady to Cam Newton.
I think Brady would finish with the same record as Cam Newton on that team right now.
Yeah, but, losing Edelman, who was actually
Can we let Steve finish?
Yeah.
Belichick has always been that mindset. Here's the thing. It's a different age of player now. Why would you want to go buy into the New England mindset and live under Belichick and the Belichick's rule?
Yeah, the no fun.
When you can go somewhere else. I mean, like I said, Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay and is doing as good as he's ever done. And he's 42 years old.
And he gets to have fun.
And it's warm. And Belichick's not there.
And
I just think New England they're going to struggle to find another quarterback that's going to want to buy it. That's why they have to go get Brissett and they have to go get Jimmy G, because they haven't had to develop a quarterback in 10 years or more. How long was Brady there?
He got drafted in 99 and made his first start 2 seasons into 2001, 20 years.
Yeah.
You just had 2 guys that held the clipboard for Tom Brady.
Yeah, that had to go whenever they got suspended or he got hurt.
So you bring these guys in that at least know the Belichick mindset. That aren't in great situations than they're at now. So you bring them back in. So that kind of fills the gap, kind of. But they're not Tom Brady. You're not going to get another Tom Brady for years. So they've never addressed. They don't have a great running game. They have a bunch of 5'10" white receivers from Division III schools. Their defense has never been super stout. New England's never been known for their defense.
No, I think
good ones, but they've never been elite level defenses.
You also have to look at the fact that Belichick is also the GM and he does not get along with ownership. Kraft and Belichick don't get along, period.
Yeah.
A lot of their conversations happened through Tom Brady before and he's not there now. And now Kraft is probably going to be upset, I would imagine, after running a dynasty, that he's going to be running a dumpster fire.
Yes, and how much longer does Belichick stay?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he's out soon.
Belichick's done everything he needs to do at this point.
He could retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Yeah, winning record, 6.
He doesn't need to stay unless he wants to.
Yeah.
But how much longer does he want to like this?
The Patriots are going to turn into a bottom 5 team in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I could see that. Not a whole
bottom 5.
I don't know.
They're going to be bottom 5.
Yeah, no receivers, no quarterback.
The coach is going to retire.
Your one saving grace is a secondary. That's the only thing you got, and they didn't even.
Stephon Gilmore was not.
Gilmore and the McCourties didn't look good this year. So
I told you, like my take on New England is not what anybody else would be thinking.
Yeah, it's one I didn't think about, but yeah,
I think I didn't think about it simply because Belichick's still there, and I still have faith in him.
Yeah, and it could just be this is an off year, and Belichick comes.
No, it's not. This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, possibly.
The same can be said about Lamar Jackson.
I don't know yet. Again,
he's done. I'm calling it right now. He's done.
If you can get him a good receiver, I think he's like Josh Allen.
That's a good receiver.
Lamar's done.
He does not have good receivers. Hollywood Brown and Dez Bryant are your guys. No, one's past his prime and one never. Dez Bryant's past his prime, and Hollywood Brown is not in a prime. It's a tight end.
Lamar doesn't want to throw the ball.
Because he has nobody to throw to. I think Josh Allen is just as mobile, but we don't give him any crap because he throws the ball to Stephon Diggs enough. If you give him somebody good,
stick a fork in him.
I don't think yet.
I don't think so yet.
Hey, here's the thing. I'm a lot older than you guys. I know what happens to mobile quarterbacks. There's a reason why they only make it 5 years in the league.
Then why is Russell Wilson still playing in Seattle?
I think Russell Wilson did
was
lose his
mobile,
run
now
game.
he's-
He
now
did
he's
lose
a
his run
quarterback.
game.
Yeah, why isn't Russell in the playoffs this year?
Because he was in the playoffs and got beat.
Yeah, Russell Wilson did lose his run
We
game.
are literally in the transition of the NFL to the running quarterback. The mobile quarterback does not exist anymore.
It ain't going to happen. I know you guys want to think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Then who do you think that's mobile, that one is going to get the shot in college? Or that's not mobile. That's one that's going to get the shot in college. Or that's two going to be successful in that.
Colleges
NFL.
don't run pro styles anymore.
Exactly. And that's the issue. Yeah, because you get these guys in, which I'm not saying they aren't good quarterbacks when they are moving around. I'm saying their careers are not going to be long.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And
3
to
years
think Lamar Jackson's going to make it 20 years ain't going to happen. Lamar ain't going to make it 15 years.
But
Right.
do you see pocket passers like Baker making it 15 years?
No.
And Russell Wilson has become a pocket quarterback,
Mahomes
and I don't see him making it 15 years.
I don't know if Baker's a pocket passer.
But he's not a mobile. I would not call him mobile or dual threat or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he breaks the pocket, but he still isn't going to try and run it for the first down.
He's not.
He has
play action
was running it for the first time.
Yeah.
Baker's way more of a duel than a pocket passer, and way more of a duel than mobile. He literally is the definition of like today's version of duel.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Like,
Now I think about it, he does run it a bit more than what I think, but and breaks the pocket for those play actions. But I don't know. I consider dual threat or mobile to be somebody that's going to get yardage out of those breaking the pocket things, not just breaking to get a longer throw.
Look at the playoffs this year, though. Like, look at mobile versus like pocket quarterbacks. Your pocket quarterbacks are Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady,
Philip Rivers.
Like, those are your
Ben Roethlisberger.
No, Roethlisberger.
He's a pocket quarterback.
He's a pocket quarterback.
They're all
that man can't run 5 yards out of the pocket.
All right, now go back and watch old Roethlisberger.
Old Roethlisberger, yeah.
What did old Roethlisberger used to do?
He used to break the pocket and get her going, and now he has the knees and arms of somebody's uncle.
So the Steelers lead the league in the quickest release, 2 seconds from snap to throw. Ben Roethlisberger is not the same quarterback.
He learned that.
That's a poor line.
Just 5 years ago, they were last in the league in snap to throw. And that's an extension of Ben Roethlisberger extending plays, extending the pocket, his mobility, you cannot bring him down.
Regardless, though, like the NFL, you have those guys who are all pocket quarterbacks. They're all on the decline. They're all old. Then you look at all of the young guys. You've got the Lamars, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Kyler Murrays, the Baker Mayfield. Like the young guys are a lot more mobile. Yeah, you may not have a mobile quarterback being the man and staying forever. I agree. That's not realistic. You're going to get hit, and longevity in the NFL is not getting hit, like, period.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of having a more mobile quarterback is the only thing you're going to get in a while. Look at the number one quarterbacks out of this coming draft. It's Justin Fields, mobile. He's a way more mobile than he is pocket. He barely can actually be in the pocket, and that's probably his biggest issue.
Yeah. And he eyes down targets.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is, to me, very similar to a Baker, where he can't stand in the pocket. He isn't very good at it right now.
He can break the pocket and get some yards off it, but he'd prefer to stay in the pocket.
Right. Like, there aren't any guys like maybe Justin Herbert. Maybe Justin Herbert is your more pocket.
I don't know. I think the way they run their offense, he doesn't have to do that. Sam Darnold is a pocket guy, is a young pocket guy, and you see how that's going.
But like that, I guess, yeah, that would be true. It's just they aren't.
You know who was a young pocket guy in that draft? Josh Rosen. You see how his career's gone.
Yeah,
he was 5'10" and 120 pounds, or 6'10" and 120 pounds.
Yeah,
that's also true. None of the pocket guys are okay. I would say none of the other pocket guys are very small. They're all bigger guys. So that'll be I think that the pocket is over simply because there aren't those people in college anymore.
Yeah,
the college teams aren't recruiting those guys. That kids
They're not developing.
aren't
That's the
learning.
problem.
yeah. You're developing a guy that can make plays on his feet and in the air.
And the kids today are not standing there watching and saying Aaron Rodgers is the person I want to be. No, it's Patrick Mahomes is the guy I want to be.
And here's the thing. All of you guys have been athletes in your own right. When a quarterback starts to focus on running, he stops focusing on the right mechanics to throw a football. Mahomes does great because he has a baseball background. He knows how to throw the ball like a shortstop. If you watch him, he plays the quarterback like a shortstop.
Yeah, with a lot of the sidearm action.
He
and
flips
stuff like
his
that.
hips the way that he does. He plays the quarterback position like a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense to be running and throwing at the same time. You have to.
Some of these other guys, when they are forced and they can't throw or can't run, they can't throw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a huge issue. And that's what I was saying about Lamar. Defensive coordinators are going to figure out how to stop him. Buffalo figured it out. Take away the running lanes and make him throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I do think another part of that issue, he could lose it. He could get it back. It's that he has nobody to throw to that's quality.
You don't need quality wide receivers if you're a good quarterback. Literally, we just talked about Tom.
Yes, Aaron, you were right. You don't need him.
You don't.
You can throw a good ball. You can throw
Tom
a good
Brady
ball.
has had Julian Edelman. He's had
But is he
Wes
Randy
Welker,
Moss.
Danny
He's had Deion
Amendola,
Branch. He's had
Rob Gronkowski.
Moss.
What?
Can I?
Yes, Erin.
Would Danny Amendola be the man you're talking about if he was playing for Dallas?
Or Detroit, like he is now, where he's the number 2 guy?
He is that man because Tom Brady made him that man because they developed a relationship and he was that good of a quarterback. If Lamar is that good of a quarterback, he will develop the relationships like he did with Hollywood Brown and he will make them the targets.
Yeah.
Aaron's right. Take receivers once they leave a system and see how they perform in another one.
Yeah.
And like you said, Amendola and them didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, here's the thing. I just don't think those guys are any bit quality. I think Dez Bryant is way past his prime. I think once he got hurt in New Orleans, he was done. And Hollywood Brown, I think, has made it thus far because he's Antonio Brown's cousin. And people are like, oh, so he must be as good as him. And it's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. A receiver can have a bad leg, but they still have good hands.
Yeah.
What was that, Erin?
Hollywood Brown is actually a good receiver. I'm not saying that
he is.
I'm not
saying
that he is a man, but he is a good receiver. He has the hands and he's quick. It's not because of his family. It is because he is good.
I don't see it. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
Cousin?
I don't think Antonio Brown has the clout to
I think
keep his family members in the league.
Aaron, do you agree with me then Lamar's not a great quarterback?
I don't think Lamar has a long career in the NFL. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think that he does not have a long career. And I think the fact that the Browns are getting better and the Steelers are like they always are, makes him, one, beating the Steelers and the Bengals will be good for him. But if the Bengals get better, like John said they will, he's going to be done. Because the division will be too tough and he's not going to be there. Like he's not going to have a long career in the NFL. I think the narrative that he can't win in a playoff game was bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
You're not wrong. I do think it was.
He's been in the league for 3 years. The average NFL career, if you look it up, is 3.5 years. He's beat the average. Having quarterbacks that last forever is not normal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not normal. So we can't expect it to be normal. Having him there for 3 to 4 more years, that would be marvelous for them to have that consistency. I just don't think it's realistic for any team, really, to have the same quarterback for 7 to 8 years nowadays. I don't think that's going to be realistic in the NFL moving forward.
Yeah. People like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady were flukes. They are the outliers in this. Peyton Manning, with how long he was in Indy, was an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
But you also see those teams consistently did well.
They did well, and they made you want to stay.
Right.
Russell Wilson.
The problem is we're comparing Lamar Jackson on a generational talent scale. We're saying he's no Tom Brady. Of course he's no Tom Brady.
There are nobody that's...
he's going to have a short career. A short career at 5-6 years, That's
Isn't
still
really not
phenomenal. I
short.
take
But
that
compare
every
him
5-6 years of a great quarterback. I'll take that any day of the week.
Compare
The
him to other
problem
mobile
is
quarterbacks.
everybody's put Lamar as being the greatest thing ever.
I don't think so.
I don't-
I think they're
Steve
saying
has
he's
the
the best
most
mobile
vendetta
quarterback.
against Lamar.
He's not the best mobile quarterback. Mahomes is the best mobile quarterback.
I don't think
I
Mahomes
think
can be defined as
Josh
true as
Allen.
what you're saying is mobile. I think Lamar
I
falls
think
more in
Lamar
with
is a better running quarterback.
he
He's a
falls in
better
with
running.
Cam
The argument that he's a
and
running,
Vic.
he's a better
All
running
right.
and he is a better thrower. Period.
Here-
But Patrick Mahomes is better versatile wise.
Yes.
All right, here's what it came out about him way back when they said he shouldn't be a quarterback, that he's a running back.
Yeah.
They weren't wrong. He's a
No,
really
they
good
were.
running back with
he
a
has
decent
a great
arm.
arm.
He has a good arm, yeah.
But he doesn't look to pass first. He looks
Yes, that's
to run.
exactly what I was talking about, Aaron.
And
His
that's the
first thing
issue.
is, can I run?
Yeah. But at the same time, is that his fault? Is that the
Oh.
offense that you've built around him?
Yeah, that you've built an offense that has Ingram and Dobbins, where you have the three-headed monster that you can run the ball. And
He's
even
not on-
before that, it was Ingram
He's
and
not there anymore.
yeah, I know Ingram's gone, but even before that, they
Well-
had it set up to where he could run the ball or hand it off, and you could run read options or option plays,
Mhm.
and that's first option. Next option is then, all right, well maybe we do need to pass it.
The NFL is a copycat league. Soon as somebody figures out how to stop him, all the other defensive coordinators are going to watch what they did to stop him. And like I said, it all goes back to what Buffalo did. Everybody's going to be watching game film of what Buffalo did to him in the playoffs come next year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
the concussion thing, yeah, that's a freak and it got knocked out of the game. But look up and watch that game up until then. They pretty much
They
Shut him down.
made
Granted,
him a
I don't know if
yeah.
every NFL team has a defense that's similar to Buffalo.
and they don't.
Yeah.
They
So-
don't,
Yeah.
but they're going to at least game plan. Hey,
But if
we got
you
to shut down
know-
the running lanes and make him throw the ball.
If you know the way to beat him is force him to the outsides and run a linebacker on spy, yeah, you're going to pinch the line and send your middle linebacker to just watch him and make sure he doesn't go anywhere. If that's all you have to do, yeah, different quality will work in different degrees. But if you know that's what they did and here's the scheme they did, it'll work to some degree.
All right, I think we've kicked this dead horse.
Yeah. All right. So the last bit of news, March Madness tournament schedule was announced. We get it on March 18th. Every game's going to be in Indianapolis, which is really cool. That it is, for us, it's 4 hours away. I don't know if they'll allow anybody in. But yeah, that
Oh,
not-
wait. I have news that we didn't talk about that's actually something I really want to talk about.
okay.
About the Super Bowl. They're letting in 22,000 fans and they're giving out 7,500 tickets for free to vaccinated healthcare workers.
That's
Oh, I
awesome.
did see that. Yeah, that's.
Sweet.
Mhm.
That's a really
It's
big
great
deal
to see fans in stands.
because well,
Also,
the fact
who
that
they're
they're
giving them
giving
to,
out
yeah.
free tickets though
Mhm.
to the Super Bowl in a season where there is no money made. That's
Mhm.
huge. And a league that only cares about money, and that's very obvious. That's very big.
Mhm.
Sorry, continue. You can go back to what you're saying now. I
Yeah,
just
March.
wanted
Oh no, that is something I was just gonna say it for whenever we talked about the Super Bowl, but yeah, glad you brought that up. That is something that's really cool. I don't know if March Madness is gonna allow anybody in throughout the entire tournament. I don't think I've seen anything.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah,
I
they shouldn't. They
hope
did
they
for
don't.
safety reasons. Maybe Final Four.
I hope
maybe,
family members, if
and
anybody,
family is about it. And
In-
I'm talking
in
Final
a
Four.
stadium
and
is
that's it.
much different than in an NFL stadium,
Yeah.
in an arena.
Yeah, so I doubt it, but yeah, we get to see March Madness start in was that less than 2 months. We get to see that, and it's something to look forward to. That also, like the first 2 days where it's football or basketball all day is Friday, Saturday. It's something that people aren't actually super happy about. Is that the second day of March Madness is on a Saturday and not a Friday, where you get to like those first 2 days you do nothing but watch basketball.
wait, why are people mad about that?
Because
you can
people
actually do it. You don't have to sit with like your phone in class like you did in college. Like
fun little fact, the percentage
most
of men that get
vasectomies
the
made
vasectomy
over
thing,
most men.
is a lot of guys get it that week, or you do something where you're going to be stuck at home. Especially with COVID this year, I think everyone's like, oh, I get to work from home Thursday and Friday. I'm going to accomplish nothing.
That's what I'm saying. People are already working from home, already like why does it
but
matter?
people are still
if
upset
on
that it's
or
Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I guess because the second day you're already off of work. So it's kind of like, well, it's not as fun now for
So
some
when's
reason.
the second group of games? Is it Sunday, Monday?
Yes.
So you still have that work.
Yeah, so I still have a day that I don't do anything at work then.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, there's still going to be days where you accomplish nothing at work. But yeah, I think it's just that even without COVID, people probably were like, well, now I only get 2 days of not doing any work instead of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did sound very whiny whenever I read it. Other news, Tennessee football got in a lot of trouble because they were giving recruits McDonald's bags full of money. And the only thing I thought about that was like, man, I wonder which recruit was like, sweet, I got a McChicken and put out like $800 and wadded up 20s.
I wonder which recruit got a McDonald's bag full of money and said, "Oh, this is to play for Tennessee. Here you go."
I want to know what recruit just got the McChicken.
Yeah, which guy? Yeah, like everyone else opened up the bag and had money, and one guy did get a McChicken.
My question is, which recruit said this is wrong and took it to the media?
The one that was like he accepted the offer.
I want to know how
and ended up
Tennessee
being
has
stuck
been paying
playing for
players but
Tennessee.
still suck.
Yeah.
Hey, Erin, it was the kid that was that actually wanted to go play for Ole Miss.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you turn down free money, first off, and second off, like, how much of a badass are you? I'm sorry for cussing again, that you feel like you have to take down an entire football program yourself.
You went to Tennessee. You went to Tennessee. Went, man, we really suck. It wasn't worth the money. I'm just gonna rat on them, and they'll take my eligibility and let me go somewhere else because maybe that's why they're like, oh, if I snitch, they'll let me like enter the transfer portal, and they weren't letting me do that before.
That's true. That's thinking long term.
That's something I think
diabolical.
Some linebacker was like, man, I want to enter the transfer portal. Tennessee and the NCAA won't let me. I'm going to bring up the fact they gave me a McDonald's bag full of money, and I'll let a couple other guys that also want to enter the transfer portal corroborate. And then we all get to leave and not be playing for Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Erin, I know you saw some sports news that you'd sent to me. I forgot to write it down, but...
Oh, yes. So in the NFL, again, back to basically the only league we talk about.
It's the thing that's big right now, all right? It's the thing that's really big right now.
Yeah, the Washington football team made history because they hired the first full-time female Black coach. She's an
Jennifer
offensive...
King.
Yeah, she's an offensive assistant. I don't know what that means. I don't know if she's going to assist in every single aspect of coaching the offense, like the offensive line, the like actual calling the plays. Like, I don't really know what that means, but I think it's pretty cool. One, that women are getting more opportunities, and we already know too that it's very hard to be Black and a coach in the NFL. That's just facts.
And a
woman.
So she's
the fact that they're giving a woman a shot and she's Black is it's a big deal, and I really wish people would talk about it more.
Yeah, I think it is that it is such a low position that it's being talked about. It's an offensive assistant. If it was something OC, DC, tight end coach, wide receiver coach, quarterback coach, linebacker coach, head coach, anything like that, it would be all we would see on ESPN for 4 days. Rightfully so, but yeah, I think since it is such a small position, it's just, it got swept underneath the rug. We don't need to talk about it. It's a small position. It doesn't mean a whole lot. But
coaching is a lot different from players.
Yeah.
Because for years, people have said, oh, in an NFL locker room, if you can play, you can play. It doesn't matter who you are. But when you're the manager, as much as...
Like, you have to look at the statistics. Look at, for example, I had to study this. We did a whole case study in my one sports and society class on the words and the verbiage that's used around Black athletes versus white athletes, specifically at leadership and roles of like captains, quarterbacks, defensive, like the defensive
mobile
player.
versus dual threat.
That's a lot of that is media.
Verbiage.
Yeah, there's different verbiages used between white and intelligence is something that's always brought up.
That's something said about the locker room when it's the management. That's completely different.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you look at it from that aspect alone, and then you look at the way coaches are talked about when they're white versus coaches that are talked about that are Black, the way the media talks about them is one thing. But if you look at the actual statistics of successful coaching and longevity and choice, like Marvin Harrison is the only Black coach, not Marvin Harrison. What's his name?
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis.
Thank you. Is the only Black coach in the Hall of Fame. Tom Mike, no,
Wait.
Marvin Lewis.
no, I'm talking about the Colts coach. He went in the same year as Marvin.
Tony Dungy.
Thank you.
Tony Dungy.
He's the only black coach in the Hall of Fame. He went in the same year as Marvin Harrison, the wide receiver. That's why.
From the Colts. Yeah.
Yeah, they both went in the same year. Anyway, Tony Dungy is the only black coach in the Hall of Fame. Mike Tomlin is the only black longevity coach that I can think of right now that has been around my entire life in the NFL. Look at how the Cardinals treated their coach. They gave him 1 year. He had a average team with a rookie quarterback. Said, nope, you're done. Black coaches don't get the same shots that white coaches do.
Well, Hugh Jackson took the Raiders to 8-8, and that was the Raiders when the Raiders were the Raiders, not when the Raiders are now.
That's why Hugh Jackson got more than a year in Cleveland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he went 1-31, and people went, never give this man a shot again.
And he's done.
Yeah, because that's almost rightfully so. If you manage to win 1 game in 2 years, you don't know what you're doing.
But that's what I'm saying. The fact that like black coaches don't get a shot, male coaches don't get a shot in the NFL, yet 80% of the league is black. And that may be high. 70% of the league is black. So 70% of your people you're churning out are black, but only 2 to 3% of the leadership is black.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So this is huge that a woman who doesn't even play in the league, has never necessarily played unless she played lingerie football professionally or like rugby. She's getting a shot. A woman's getting a shot. Big, but she's a black woman. That's huge. Like, I don't care that she's an offense assistant.
Yeah, it's still a huge deal.
This Army knife and knows everything. It's huge.
But yeah,
Erin made my point for me. I was going to say, among the players, it's one thing when people say, if you help us win, you help us win. We don't care who you are. But it's an entirely different thing between players and coaches, because players aren't the ones hiring coaches. It's the management. It's the ones with the money. And that's why we see a discrepancy. If it was the players hiring the coaches, of course, there'd be players coming up through the ranks all the time. But when it's the people in charge who aren't hiring these players, that's when we see favoritism, we see colorism, we see all of this. We see people who aren't qualified, or lesser qualified white coaches getting passed over between the enemy.
Yeah. And another thing, African-American players are actually asked to change positions more frequently than their white counterparts. Right. Whenever we said Lamar Jackson should become a running back, you would never say that about a mobile white quarterback, or you have guys
like Josh Allen,
yeah, who also probably could be a great tight end. But we were like, oh no, you're cool being a quarterback.
No one said Johnny Manziel should be a running back.
Yeah. Tim Tebow. It was not until late into his career where people were like, dude, just become a running back. But
they said tight end, but
tight end or fullback or something.
No one doubted he could be a quarterback in the draft. It was after he got to the league, they said, well, maybe tight end. And he had the option of saying, no, I don't want to be a tight end. And he still got a job.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to get going. I'm getting my COVID vaccine in less than an hour, and I don't know where I'm going yet.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're done with news. Conor McGregor fights again tonight. Cool. That's about it. Picks, NFC Championship, Tampa at Green Bay, Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, David versus Goliath here. 2 great quarterbacks that have had great careers, normally don't get to face off. Tom Brady's without some weapons that he had last time they played. Played Green Bay. This game was in Tampa Bay earlier this season. Tampa won. I think given the conditions in Tampa, Rodgers is going to thrive. That's the difference maker in this. Tom Brady's without some weapons, without ABs, without Evans. So you're down to Godwin and Gronkowski as your 2 receivers.
No Ronald Jones. Do they have Ronald Jones back?
Ronald Jones is back as a running back, and you still have Leonard Fournette. Very good defense, but I think nail biter, high score. Aaron Rodgers is my guy to win this. So I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers too. I said it last week. Every time Lil Wayne writes a song about him, they win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying that's statistically proven to be successful.
All right.
In the other game, though, I'm just going to, mosey on over. I think the Bills are going to win. I don't know if I think the Bills are going to win. I want the Bills to win, so I'm picking the Bills.
All right.
Picking the Bills.
All righty, so I'm out, friends.
She's out.
Have fun with your vaccine. We'll see you
Have
next
fun.
week.
See you next
Thanks.
week.
Bye.
All right. So, John, we'll have you do the NFC game, and then we'll go back
All
to
right.
our rotation.
Yeah. Did you say David Goliath when you
I did. I don't know why I said that because they're both great teams.
You mean
but-
Goliath versus Goliath?
Yeah, Goliath and Goliath. These teams are both great. I think
Mhm.
that for some reason, Aaron Rodgers is always seen as an underdog, or at least the Packers are. And I don't.
I think the Packers have too much talent. I think Devontae Adams. I think Aaron Rodgers is still on a tear, and as much as I'd like to see Brady go out with a win, I think the Packers take it.
Yeah. All right, and Brady.
Yeah, I'll take the Packers. Rodgers had a phenomenal season. Gonna win MVP. Packers are gonna win the Super Bowl.
So it doesn't end here. So you're Aaron Rodgers going all the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dad.
All right. Here's the thing. If Tom Brady wins this game, they win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Tom Brady is a whole nother person. The difference is they're in Green Bay.
Mhm.
Cold January Green Bay.
Wait, Dad.
I'm checking weather conditions right now.
If Tom Brady wins, they go back home for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
Right now, you have to go to Lambeau,
New England,
but has everyone else been in this kind of weather conditions from Tampa?
you have.
And the answer is
I don't
no.
know
That's
that-
the thing.
I don't know that Tampa has enough defense to stop Green Bay's offense.
Yeah. It'll be 32
And
and
I think
snowing.
Green Bay has just enough defense to slow down Tampa's offense. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to win it this week. And
All right.
With AB being out, Jair Alexander is one of the best, if not the best, cornerback in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
It would really, really help to have a second option. But
Yeah,
with
you need
him
somebody
covering
else.
your one,
You're essentially
don't see an
you're
explosive
now
offense.
you're now stuck having to hope that Gronk can get open
Mhm.
and that Jones is able to run the ball successfully in snowy Green Bay conditions tomorrow. And I don't think that happens. So yeah, I think Green Bay is going to be everyone's pick to win this.
yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah. So next up, we got the AFC Championship, Bills at Chiefs. This game also was played earlier this season. So it is something that's odd that both championship games we've already gotten a preview of.
Mhm.
And the Chiefs won it. That's a bit. I think that's kind of a big deal. They won it whenever they're in Buffalo. Now you're going to be dealing with better conditions in Kansas City, or probably the same conditions. Mahomes is back, and that's my concern. Is he enters concussion protocol against the Browns, and in 6 days he's clear, or in 5 days he's cleared to
Apparently,
go.
it was
said he had a
never
concussion.
concussion. It was
just
it was a
protocol?
nerve.
Okay,
No.
but still, that's something I would be concerned about if I'm a Kansas City fan. Is Mahomes coming back so quick after being taken out of that game, and something that looked fairly serious, and they're like concussion protocol, it's something serious. He's back. The Browns put up solid numbers against that Kansas City defense. I do think Buffalo this year is the better offense, and that's something that's a big deal. If the Browns can put up that much against you and almost win it, I think the Bills are going to succeed even more. And we saw the Bills are able to shut down Lamar big time. So I think that for the first time in 27 years, we're going to see Buffalo back in the Super Bowl. And how about this? Last time they were in the Super Bowl, they also beat Kansas City to get there.
Oh, wow.
In 1994, in 27 years. They talked about this. Every 27 years, the Chiefs play the Bills in the AFC Championship. It's held true. Last time the Bills were in the Super Bowl, they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I think we're going to see it again. We're going to see Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers just slinging the ball in the Super Bowl.
I've said all year, I think the Chiefs were a better team last year and the year before. They've limped into the playoffs, but with questions around Patrick Mahomes, I still think they're the better team. But I think the Bills can win this because the Bills have been improving while the Chiefs have taken a step. Digressed.
Or, I don't think that's the right word. We're not known for our intelligence here. We're going to say digressed is the right word there. So you're taking the Bills?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Because
Brady.
I think early season
Sorry.
Chiefs and now Chiefs are two different teams.
Hey, John, is that official? You're definitely taking the Bills.
Bills. No
Yes.
flip-flopping.
It isn't like
Bills
I'm going to
official.
take the Bills unless the Chiefs score more points, then I'm going to take the Chiefs. You're taking the Bills, right?
That was an entirely different situation. No,
It was not. It was not.
it was. It was.
Hey, I had to take this
Patrick Mahomes is
opportunity to
playing.
throw you under the bus one more time.
All right. So Brady, you're up now.
I predicted that game correctly.
All right, Brady.
Two teams that I think could ever beat the Chiefs: Browns, Bills. Browns lost on a bullcrap call and Dan Sorensen almost giving Rashard Higgins a concussion. Would have been a touchdown if they would have called it. Not a touchdown. It would have been at the 1 yard line.
He hit the
It
pylon.
would have.
Well, because of the hit, you would have been out at the 1, I think. But also, the weird rule where like if the ball fumbled out of the end zone, it's a turnover.
Yeah,
that's a horrible rule.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But
yeah, so that rule changes. Browns could have won it.
One thing you have to do to stop Mahomes, pressure him. You've seen that whenever Mahomes gets pressured, tries to run outside the pocket, he gets sacked. Well, they're going to have to play more pressure because Mahomes is going to be too scared to run outside the pocket because now he has a hurt head. Maybe lost some intelligence off of that one. But Bills all the way. They'll probably lose a close one in the Super Bowl, though.
All right. Taking the Bills. We'll worry about Super Bowl picks next or 2 weeks from now. All right, Dad?
All right. The injury that nobody is focusing on. It's all about he got choked out and passed out. What about his foot? Do you guys remember how he was hobbling around on his foot during that game?
I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, he hurt one of his big toe or something.
Oh, yeah, he got like turf toe or something.
Yes. So nobody's addressing his foot. They're all worried about his neck. So what I think, and like Brady said, if you can keep pressure on him and keep him from running around, he makes plays running around. If you can keep him from running around, you can win the game. The biggest thing is trying to cover Hill. The way that they run him across the formation wreaks havoc on defenses. Mm-hmm. Now, with Buffalo, I think they will win just based on the Diggs Allen thing. I think Buffalo has a great defense, and I think they can keep Mahomes in check. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be one of those games that's we always say it's going to come down to the team that has the ball last, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I'm pulling for the Bills Mafia to win this and go to the Super Bowl and face Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and I do think something that never gets brought up with the Bills, they have a great secondary. You even saw the intelligence in the Colts game. Poyer is on – who was that?
Oh, my gosh.
It was one of the Colts wide receivers, catches it on the ground, and he waits for him to get up before he punches the ball out, which just speaks to intelligence going, well, he's going to get back up. I can tell he's getting back up, so don't touch him while he's on the ground. Hit him as soon as he's going up. And I believe it's Poyer and maybe Tre'Davious White was on him. I'm not sure what the combo was. I know Poyer was there. If you can put those two on Hill and Kelsey, what your goal is now, get it to Mecole Hardman, and that's it. That is the only guy you got left, and they'll just run him on the wheel route instead. And maybe you can shut him down. But yeah, the Bills' front four isn't great. Ed Oliver's okay. It's that secondary that they have that is so good that people don't talk about because it's Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. But that is all we have for this week. Thank you. Remember to like, comment, share, follow, everything you do. We appreciate it. Whenever you guys leave comments, it lets us know, hey, we can talk about something next week if you want to hear about it. Leaving likes lets us know we're doing a good job. Subscribing to it might make it easier. If you subscribe and hit that bell, you'll get a notification as soon as this video goes up. You don't have to be reliant on the Twitter or the Facebook pages letting you know. So yeah, subscribing and hitting that bell lets you know as soon as this goes up. Leaving comments, you can contribute to the conversation and we'll bring it up on the next show. And you can feel like you're a part of our crew. That sounds dumb, but yeah, like whenever we see comments, which we normally don't get, it gives us something that we can talk about and kind of involve our fans a bit more. But everything you guys do, we appreciate. Whenever you share it on Facebook, you share it on Twitter, it all makes us feel like we're doing a good job. So yeah, thank you for joining us this week. Remember, tune in to some of the other shows that we're going to be putting out in the near future. We'll be back next week with our award show because no one cares about the Pro Bowl. So it'll be us giving out our awards for best players and all of the accomplishments that have happened over the season. So thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.